All right, this is for guys, but any females, you should watch this too, because I'm probably gonna. It's about the same thing. It's about anti-aging. And I say this a bunch of times, man. I say this a lot. And I say all these things a lot, but it's the same. For testosterone maximization, eating the same, you eat the same. A man who wants to maximize his testosterone naturally, as far as the diet goes, a man eats the same as a female who wants to anti-age. It's the same thing. We eat the same, man. There might be slight differences in volume and stuff like that, but the food is the same. It starts with natural, unprocessed foods. And there isn't much of a difference in what you're eating for hormone balance, because it's going to be, everybody's going to be eating for their, everyone's going to be individuals, but it's the same foods. Women can eat testosterone maximizing foods. It's food, and so anyways, before I go off on a tangent, well, I'm sure I'm going to go off on it. This is a tangent, man. What am I talking about? Natural testosterone maximization, right? We get well, not we. I say we, but I'm good. I'm past all this, but I'll use the word we as in everybody, but everyone's getting bombarded with misinformation, by the way. Mostly misinformation when it comes to anything having to do with health across the board, man. And this is mental health too. I mean, this is everything. It's a bunch of misinformation. And it's a lot of it. It's misinformation overload. So a lot of younger guys, mostly younger guys, are on the internet looking for this type of stuff. So like the people that contact me, as far as guys go, they're generally about testosterone stuff. Once they know that I know what I'm talking about and that I live it, they're generally in their 20s. So that's good. Now hopefully they're hopefully at some point, once it all clicks, they're able to get on the actual path of anti-aging and not just trying to be like, I want to boost my testosterone. What a younger guy in his 20s is about, they're seeing all this stuff on the internet. They're seeing people who are abusing either they're here. I like to define things, okay? If you're not dying and you're taking any kind of testosterone, doesn't matter what you think, doesn't matter if you're calling it a TRT dose, which people who are taking 250 milligrams of testosterone a week, that's not a TRT dose. That's above that. Because that's fine, they can do whatever they want. But if you are not dying and your body is able to produce a healthy amount of testosterone, you're abusing it. And then that's just testosterone. You could go farther into different types of steroids and stuff. That's really abusing it. And people, doesn't mean they're bad people. Those people, most of them are probably very good people. They're doing it for all these different reasons. They're doing it for all kinds of different reasons. And all I'm doing is stating what is what. Testosterone, taking synthetic testosterone, should be for when you're dying and your body is not producing it. Doesn't matter what age you are. If you're 40 years old and you are dying and your body is not producing testosterone and your doctor has to put you on synthetic testosterone, that's what has to be done. Every other thing before that has been tried and it doesn't work. Now you're dying at 40. If you're 30 and you're dying at 30, I understand people don't want to admit that, but there's not that many people who actually are dying. They're taking testosterone nowadays. Everyone's taking it. Children are taking it. They're effing themselves up for the rest of their life doing this. And it's almost become to where it's like it's glorified on the internet, and younger people are giving younger people advice. People in their 20s giving teenagers advice on taking steroids, let alone testosterone, but like elevating their testosterone levels to what 10 human beings testosterone levels should be. They're going to F themselves up. Doesn't matter what anyone says, how you can get your testosterone back, and they will F themselves up for the rest of their lives if they stay on that for even more than a few months, man. You know, and if they go like a year like that, they're going to mess themselves up for the rest of their life. And females that do it for one time, they can F themselves up. And this does not mean that they're bad people. I'm just saying the way it is, man. So, to be natural, right? Natural testosterone maximization, natural. You can't think. You have to understand what that means, and you cannot. You have to separate it from all the other things that have testosterone in it, like testosterone boosting. And that's what a lot of younger people, they want to know how to boost their testosterone. What goes up, it must come down. What goes up always comes down. You don't want to boost your. I mean, you can boost your testosterone. Just take testosterone. You know, that's the best testosterone boost. Now people go, I want more of like a herbal thing. You're not going to get much of a boost with anything herbal. You might be able to combine it with things that are. I really don't talk about like sexual things here on this because there's females, but like one-on-one with guys, if they're open to a lot of things, there's a lot of different things, you know, that can enhance your life, put it that way. And I don't want to get, you know, I'm not gonna go that route, but arousal and stuff can boost your testosterone for the time being, but it's not going to boost it to where it's going to change your physique to look like your guy that does steroids or testosterone. You know what I mean? Or whatever, like SARMs, these things that people are doing now, right? It's the same stuff, right? And these younger guys are about either increasing their strength to above, it's either above what they're genetically they can do as a human, or it's because they don't want to spend the time and years and years and years and years to get there. They want it right now, and it can't. That's what drugs can do that. Or it's for their physique. The same thing. It's either they want to make their physique better than what genetically they were handed and they're allowed to, you know, their potential is, or they don't want to take the time to do it, and they want it just right now. Those are the reasons, and those are all wrong. And they're watching stuff on the internet with people who need to, like when it comes to the strength side, feats of strength. They're cool, man. I like all that stuff. I can understand what those people are putting themselves through. Like, I lean towards that. I'm not a physique. It's not that I don't like to look good, but I'm not like a bodybuilder. Anything, and I don't flex in the mirror, and I'm not into that. So that's not what would get me. For me, I do like being strong, and I like things, you know, like that. I like seeing weight go on my bar, and I lean towards that. I have to curb my ego on that end, because of the reasons why I lift is for life performance. It's for performing at optimally in life, not just in a gym, in life. And testosterone maximization, agile, mobile, virile. That's why I use any tool that involves exercise, working out, training, and I define those too. There's a difference between exercise, difference between working out, difference between training, difference between sport, and then hardcore manual labor. There's a difference between those things. People don't know that either. People are all over the place, and they're over there thinking that they're working out and they're doing sport, or they're training and they're training and they're taking themselves past where they should be. And there's all kinds of stuff people do that are wrong. And they don't, and so those are the reasons why I do use these tools. And I can maximize that because I'm trying to perfect my diet, I'm trying to perfect my lifestyle, and I'm trying to perfect the mindset, that's how you anti-age. That's how you maximize testosterone. It's the same thing. If you're a guy and you're maximizing your testosterone, you are anti-aging. If you're a female, you're anti-aging. It's the same thing, man. It's not different, you know? Like females are more into what's the concoction, what's the magic, this thing, the one thing, you know, whether it's a topical thing or whether it's something that you mix up or something like that. That's where females go. Guys, how do I boost my testosterone? Like next week, yesterday, you know what I mean? And you know, without even understanding that it's a Groundhog's Day thing. It's a Groundhog's Day. Every day is a day. Is every day is a repeat, and you only try to hone your craft every single day, and you have to love it. If you don't love it, that wears on you. Nothing can be a grind. So it's a whole entire overhaul on the way that 100% of people live. If people want to anti-age, if people want to maximize testosterone naturally, the way that they're living, I guarantee, is going to be at least 75% wrong. All the way wrong for that. And if they do not fix all of it, they will not anti-age. They will not maximize testosterone to where it can go. So guys that want to boost testosterone, they got to quit thinking of it like that. Because if you want to boost testosterone, take testosterone and you will get a testosterone boost. But what goes up comes down, and also side effects happen. Don't do that. I'm just saying that, right? You know not to do that. I'm anti that unless you are dying. Testosterone is the dialysis machine. Taking synthetic testosterone is like being on dialysis. It's because you have to. Don't listen to what the internet's. These people, man. There's young guys in their 20s giving steroid advice and giving natural testosterone maximization advice too, and they're giving diet advice on maximizing testosterone. They have no business doing so. They have zero. They are out of. Anyone who's taking testosterone doesn't make them bad. It makes they're probably great people. They are out of the conversation when it comes to food, what you need to eat to maximize testosterone, and what they say is wrong. What they say is wrong. What I say is correct. 1,000,000%. What I say is correct. And the same way to eat to maximize testosterone for men is the same way females and males need to eat to anti-age, to reverse age. I'm about reversing age. And I'm hardcore about it. This is my life. Reversing age doesn't happen with just the diet. That's very important though. That's more important than the exercise, the training, the working out, the whatever you want to call that. That's more important than that. Diet, perfecting the diet, understanding what perfect is. I defined it. I figured out what a perfect diet is. It starts with unprocessed foods. Inside of there, where you have to balance out your hormones, you have to balance out micronutrients. Those are the two main things to focus on. Don't focus on protein, which in the internet they want people to focus on protein, or they want people to eat way too much fat. You do not need. It's like you're overloading on fat when your body only needs so much fat for hormone balance. Hormone balance is how your testosterone raises. Also, vitamin D from the sun. Your vitamin D levels go up, your testosterone goes up. If you're not healthy enough to absorb the sun properly, your vitamin D levels will not go up just being in the sun. So people need to get their vitamin D levels checked. People need to get an entire full blood panel checked and see where they're at everywhere. But with vitamin D, if your vitamin D levels are low, like if you're like in the 30s or something, and your doctor says, hey, we got to put you on a mega dose of D2 for this long, or blah 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 blah, do what the doctor says, because you shouldn't be in the sun. And people need to know how to be in the sun. Like, in our world, there are people who don't even know that you should get sun for vitamin D. Like, they don't even know this. That's your best source of vitamin D. But you have to be healthy enough to be able to absorb it, and your body is now doing what it needs to do with it. Otherwise, your body will reject it, and you can get cancer. All these things can happen because you're not healthy enough to absorb the sun properly. Does this mean you sit in the sun for 12 hours a day? No. It means roughly, this is where healthy vitamin D is if you're healthy. 15 minutes to, depending on how hot the sun is, where the sun's at, that type of thing. 15 to an hour at most of 50 to 75%, hopefully, preferably 100%, but you can't go around naked, right? But you want to be more than 50% of your body in the sun, not in the shade, and the sun's out, in the sun, 15 minutes every day. Probably for most people, 15 minutes to a half hour. For some people, like me, more than a half hour. I benefit from more than a half hour, but my vitamin D levels are 100. I'm super healthy. I can benefit from a half hour to an hour of direct sunlight. And we're not talking about tanning, even though if you need to think of it like tanning at the beginning, like, hey, I'm gonna go tan, okay, do that. But grow up and understand that there's things more important than tanning and having an even tan. It's not about that. It's about anti-aging. That's more important than having an even tan. That's superficial. So people lean to the superficial, and I'm telling you, if you need to do that in the beginning, and that's the only way that's going to get you to do it, then do it, but understand that that's wrong. You got to know this, because all that's going to do is make you constantly think about superficial things rather than what needs to be done. And this is in every single thing, man. You have to be tough on yourself like that, or nothing will happen. You will not make it. You won't do it. And to keep it on testosterone for guys, man, don't listen to what's out there. What's out there is all wrong. It's completely wrong. And watch my videos. It's gonna be hard to find, but I talk about testosterone in a lot of videos. As far as, don't worry about the training. Don't worry about the training, even though there is specific training for testosterone maximization, and I'm doing it with squatting every day, but I'm not saying people have to squat every day. It's not people think either powerlifting, they think bodybuilding, or they think mostly powerlifting or bodybuilding, and in between there, and they're thinking that's not what it is, man. When it all comes down to it, without getting technical about the sets and progression and percentages and when it all comes down, that's for advanced stuff anyways. But when it all comes down to it, a natural testosterone maximization style workout, okay, needs to be something needs to be something that you can do every day. When it all boils down to it, this means you're not going to failure. This means you're not going anywhere near failure. Doesn't mean you're not training with weight, should you choose to, because that's a tool. That's a good tool. The best tool. That's why I choose to squat every day, and I've been doing it for over 2 years, every day. And I squat 275 to 300 pounds mostly. I was going up, trying to get up and trying to progress. I took my ego and I stuck it in my pocket, because I'm like, hey, it's better for me to stay closer to 275. That way I don't need recovery. This is not about how much weight you put on a bar. This is not about powerlifting. This is not about anything like that. A lot of that stuff it harms you in the long run of life. Doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean the people that do it are bad. Doesn't mean the people that do it aren't strong, freaking strong. Okay? Now, on the internet, people that are showing feats of strength, they're all on steroids. On the internet, people that are showing their body, no matter guys and girls, if they have to show their body to be able to get people to give them money and see what they're doing, they're on stuff. Period. Doesn't matter even what they look like. They can look like me. There's people that look like me and they're on all kinds of stuff. I'm a normal looking guy. And my testosterone's 1,000. Okay? Another thing, I've said this a bunch of times, I'm just going to keep saying the same stuff because guys see, they only see one video and people don't want to go back and look at all the other videos, right? I understand that. Because you got to sift, you got to find through, sift through things, right? So I'll just keep repeating myself. My testosterone's around 1,000. I'm 42 years old. All right? That doesn't necessarily, your testosterone levels, natural, does not, it can, it can, but it does not mean that your physique is going to rise with it. Unless, it can and it will a little bit, but not to the point to where, not equal to shooting up synthetic testosterone. See what I'm saying? You can have a lower testosterone number, but it could be synthetic, and your body will look way different than natural testosterone numbers that are way higher. And everyone is different with genetics and everything too, but that's the way it is. So to get when people are interested in they want their physique to be different, they think if they raise their testosterone levels, their physique is going to look like this person's that they see on the internet that they like. That person is on stuff if they're showing their body to get you to pay attention to them. They're on stuff. Doesn't matter what they say. Okay, there's guys that look normal, that they're on stuff. They look normal, like, hey, yeah, you can do that and be natural, but they're not. Okay, especially if they're young, they're not. They're taking stuff. And it also gives your skin a different tone, a different look. Just taking 100 milligrams of testosterone a week, a month, 100 would give your skin a different look. It would give your veins a different look. It would give your muscles a different look. If you do not change anything and that's all you did, you have a different look. Now, that won't raise your testosterone levels through the roof, right? If you raise let's say your testosterone levels are 400, which is in the good range. Let's say you took a little bit of testosterone and you got them, synthetically, and your testosterone levels are now 650. Your body's going to be way, 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 way different at some point. After it'll be a little while, but your body's going to be way different. Your skin's going to be different. Your muscles are going to pop differently. Your veins are going to show differently. All that. Your blood volume, it increases your blood volume. Your veins are going to pop out when they normally wouldn't, depending on how, even when you're not that lean. Like, if you're lean, you got veins and veins show, but if you're not that lean and you're taking testosterone or something, veins are going to show when they wouldn't normally, right? People like that look, right? Certain things pop, like your delts and different things, they look different, right? Biceps, there's people that don't have any biceps and all of a sudden they take testosterone, a little bit of testosterone, and their biceps start popping all the time, like as if they did a bunch of arm curls, right? So if you got to 650 naturally, all right, let's say you were at 400, and let's say you did a real true anti-aging lifestyle, and now your testosterone, it went up to its max that it can naturally. Let's say you're genetically, you are able to get up to like where I'm at. Let's say you get up to close to 1,000 testosterone naturally. You more than doubled it. Your physique, while your physique will change, but it's not going to look as good as far as to the eye and to, it's not going to have that cartoonish, steroidish look that it would if it was 650. Does that make any sense? Doesn't matter what anyone says, people who will say differently are on stuff. Okay? People who will say differently are on stuff. Just like people who talk good about testosterone and steroids and talk like they're not harmful to you, 1000% of the time, they are on them. 1000% of the time. And anybody who cares about anybody, put it this way. I've said this a bunch of times to young people. If you're in your 20s and you want to learn how to do steroids, find someone who will find a mentor who will take you on, and this is going to be hard to do too. And I'm not talking about on the internet, because these people who are they're making money off of this crap. Yeah, you'll have to find someone locally who's willing to even talking, which is it's going to be hard to do, right? Because I want you to find someone who's twice your age, who's been on steroids since they were young, for over 20 years. Someone who's been on steroids for over 20 years, who can tell you the way it really is. And that person, I guarantee you, first of all, those people who are old school like that, they don't even talk about it. They don't talk about it. They talk about it only with the people who are on their level with it, and it's like, oh, you know this? Okay, now we can talk about this, if they even do that. But all those people, I guarantee you, the real ones, the ones that aren't on the internet, the ones that are your local gyms that are all roided out, they've been roided out for 20 years, if you even get them to where they will even give you any advice on it, I guarantee you, all of them will try to steer you away from it. They're stuck on it. And that's what and also, not only are they stuck, look, if they're doing TRT, they're stuck on it. But if they're doing like roids, and that's their choice, and they know that they're taking years off their life, and they're doing it because they have confidence, they have issues, man, and that's totally fine. We all have issues. But the ones who are older and the ones who care about other human beings, they would steer you away from it. And you're 20, they try to tell you, don't do this. Even though they were doing it when they were your age, they'll tell you don't do it, because they're going to be on it for life, man. And they're going to be dealing with having to deal with the side effects, and you take this to counter this, and when this starts happening, now I got to take this and that. These 20-year-old kids, man, you mess yourself up even more when you're in your 20s. If they start like when they're in their late 30s or 40s, all right, it's not going to be as bad. You're still going to deal with all that, but when you're in your 20s and you still haven't peaked yet, in your early 20s or your teens, that's like you just signed a death. You just signed an early death. You signed an early death, or a miserable life from a very young age. It's not good, man. Don't do it. Don't take any of these pro hormones. There's steroids too. Don't take SARMs. Don't take anything that is testosterone raising. You maximize your own natural testosterone production. It's every day. It's Groundhog's Day. You want to be even keeled. You don't want to be boosting. Boosting is what goes up comes down. Even keel is what your body wants. And you can steady, you're going to be going this way. I'm still peaking. I'm 42. My testosterone raised from 619 to 947 from 39 years old to 41 with perfecting this lifestyle. In my mid-30s is when I was educating myself on what it really takes to anti-age. From about 33 years old, somewhere around there. Don't quote me on the exact timeline, but I just roughly go back a decade. Is when I started, my early 30s, and then my mid 30s. I did all kinds of stuff wrong, but I was learning. By the time I got to 39 years old, man, I figured this thing out. I figured out what it takes to reverse age. And at that time, my testosterone I was like, hey, I'm good. I'm 6, my testosterone's in the 6, 6 to 650. And for 39 years old, free testosterone's good, everything. I'm like, wow, that's good, man. That's awesome, right? I feel great. I start learning more, and then I start learning about vitamin D levels, and then sure enough, my vitamin D was at 56 or 59 or something like that, when my testosterone was 619. My vitamin D, I get my vitamin D up to 100. My testosterone goes up to 947. From 39 to 41. And there's young kids that when they over here on this channel, they start telling me that all these different things that I'm doing, and I'm taking testosterone, and it's impossible for your testosterone for that to happen. I swear this on my dead grandfather. All right, I swear on my dead grandfather. I'll put my hand on anything. I will take a polygraph test. You can blood test me every second of the day. I could be on a non-stop blood test. This is my life, man. And the feeling that I feel from 39 to 41 from my testosterone raising from 619 to 947, my vitamin D going from 56 or whatever it was to 100, I feel like I went backwards 20 years in life. And I was feeling amazing at 39. I feel even better at 42 than 41 because I'm like on this thing permanently. So this is my life. I'm sharing this with people. This is the anti-aging. I am the ultimate authority on anti-aging, period. There's nobody that could even get close to me, because everybody's agenda is to sell stuff. It costs so much money to even attract people. It costs money to attract people. It costs, it also costs your life to attract people, because you have to look a certain way. I have no agenda. My life is about me. Everything's about me. I'm selfish. It's about me. It's about me, anti-aging, adding 40, 50 years. I'm gonna live well into my hundreds. Well into my hundreds. 120, 130, 140. That's where my sights are set. Like crazy numbers. Living well, thriving. Not running marathons. I'm not gonna be running marathons at 80, 90 years old. That's not anti-aging. See, people they think extremes, man. Same thing. So to get back to the testosterone thing, guys, young guys, quit watching all the powerlifting stuff unless you know how to watch it properly. Or quit watching the bodybuilding stuff, period. But quit watching the powerlifting stuff and all the strongman stuff that's on YouTube unless you know how to watch it properly. You understand that those people, number one, they're pro-aging. They're pro-aging fast. They're all on stuff to have those feats of strength, man. Recovery is required to be able to do anything that they're doing. Now, it's all cool to watch, and it's awesome, and it's great, and it's a spectacle, and I really like it, and I lean towards stuff like that. And I would I'm the person, I lean towards ruining my body. I lean towards anything that ruins my body. Anything that's a sport, I love it. Sport ruins your body. So don't train like what you see. Don't even train like, with progressive overload as it's defined on the internet now. Don't even train like that. Even in the beginning, if you're like a teenager and you're young, you get away with some of that. But once you've established something, you really don't want to train like that. You really want to train. You really want to leave stuff in the tank. You want to be even keel. You want to be like Bruce Lee said, even though Bruce Lee died young, because Bruce Lee, he did a lot of stuff harmful to his body too. But be like water. That's how you want to be. And you want to be like water. Everything needs to flow. Everything needs to flow. You're not taking your body through all these yo-yos, man. And you can progress that way too. It's going to be slower, but you have to. Everything needs to be. Tomorrow you could do the same thing you did today. The next day you can do the same thing you did the day before. So that's how you need to be. Everything you do, you can do it. You can continue to do it. Like pull-ups, right? You're gonna go blow your wad on doing one set of pull-ups. It's better to be able to do pull-ups any time of the day, all day. Wake up in the middle of the night and you could do pull-ups. But you know what I mean? You will get stronger at everything in life, including pull-ups, doing that. So taking yourself to failure on anything is not what you want to do. You want to stay well below failure and leave stuff in the tank. Let's say let's say your failure is 20 pull-ups. You now can no longer do one pull-up after you did 20. You got to recover. And then when you recover, and then now you're weak and you can't do 20 for a long time, right? You're not maximizing your natural testosterone doing that. High intensity interval training, let me throw this in there too. High intensity interval training is not maximizing your testosterone either. I know that's thrown out there too. You're better off, let's say you could do 20 to where now you can no longer do pull-ups anymore for 5 days, right? And then when you do, you can't do 20 for a long time. You have to like fully recover, and you have to take days off of doing pull-ups at all. That way you can get to where you can do 20 again. You're better off doing 5 or 6 or 7 or, and doing them dead hang and then adding weight to it and doing stuff like that to where you could do 5 to 10 pull-ups all day long. And if you wanted to, every 3 or 4 and 5 minutes throughout the whole day, you could do 5 pull-ups, and you could do, by the whole day, you'll do like 1,000 of them, whatever. I know that number's wrong, but I just threw that out there, right? You know what I'm saying though, right? If you could go and do 5 pull-ups or dead hang and hang for like 3 seconds on the bottom, and then be like water and pull yourself up all the way and then hold it there too, and then like water, and you're just like, you see those guys on the bar, those bar guys that are really good on the bars? Those guys can they're like monkeys, right? You're going to be stronger in real life being able to do that than just going to failure as a bodybuilding style or something like that on something like a pull-up. On anything. It's everything, but I'm just using a pull-up as an example. And I know for, training heavy, training to failure, high intensity interval training, I know that stuff gets thrown out there for testosterone maximization. It's wrong. It's wrong. You want to be able to, any time of the day, multiple times of the day, you want to be at your strongest, and you want to be able, the things that you need are for your fight, your flight, or your freeze. Don't forget freeze, because most people freeze. Fight, flight, freeze, right? Whenever those times happen, you want to be able, that's what you don't want to happen, but you have that in the bag. You will not have that you will not be at your best at that point if you need recovery for everything you do, and you go to failure or you go close to failure, and you always need to recover. You will not be at your strongest when you need a fight, flight, or freeze moment in your life, which hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does, when that happens, you're going to be way, way, way stronger in those moments if you are like water at all the rest of the time. I promise you this. And I know when you're 20 years old, it's hard I'm 40 something, and it's hard for me to do it. I'm telling you right now, I didn't used to do this. I did not used to do this. I wish I knew this when I was in my 20s. I didn't. That's why I'm saying this. And I know that young guys in their 20s, they're not always going to do this. And good thing in your 20s, when you're a young male, you can recover better. And you can do stupid things. Doesn't mean you should do them. And if you don't, you're going to be way better off. But I know how 20-year-old males are. And I get it. But like water, it's a lifelong thing. You got plenty of time, right? So think about it like that. Think about it. And I'll just leave it here, and I will talk to you later.